I made a video last year where I beat Cosmic Trial using Elektra and I had absolutely nothing at all equipped. I think something that kind of undermines that challenge a little bit is I did use about 1,500 Infinity Points to do it. And I think all of us know that Cosmic Trial kind of becomes free if you just throw enough Infinity Points at it. Like, it stops mattering what sort of hero you're playing or build you're using, or anything that you have equipped. So today, I want to take things one step further. I used synergies in that video, and I will not be using synergies today. Infinity points. Absolutely no infinity points at all. When it comes to what I'll be having equipped for the duration of this, no slot 1 through 5, no legendary. Only just a few artifacts here, 1, 2, 3. And I suppose this costume that doesn't really do anything. Although, come to think of it, I think I left my catalyst on there accidentally, but well, that's not really a big deal, is it? I mean, it's just a catalyst, it's not going to do that much for me, is it? No, I'm just going to go ahead and beat Cosmic Trial with basically just a few artifacts equipped. So, I think perhaps the more observant among you, the more keen-eyed, will notice something a little strange is happening here. I've been invisible for a really, really long time. And, you know, I never said that I wouldn't beat Cosmic Trial without using a few tricks or a few interesting, like, just abuses of game mechanics, now did I? See, there's actually a very interesting interaction in this game. And that is that if you have a mystical energy catalyst with a purple affix that says, when your health drops below 20%, become invisible for 15 seconds. You can actually infinitely chain that if you have 0% power duration. For another interesting reason, this game is coded in such a way that if you have 0% power duration, then the cooldown on that just stays at 15 seconds. You can potentially stack it forever as long as your health meets the threshold. If you have power duration though, then for whatever reason, it actually kind of staggers the cooldown, it desyncs it. So you're stuck with like moments where even if your health qualifies, you'll be visible for a while. But having no power duration at all causes it to line up rather nicely. Assuming that, of course, you can have at least 20% health, or really at most 20% health, every 15 seconds. So the question becomes, how do we do that? How do we make sure that our health stays low the entire time? Well, the easiest way I found is simply to use the hero that constantly cuts his health just by having thirst. See, something that I've never done in this entire video is use my serum. I've never removed the thirst. And because of that, the thirst mechanic keeps my health low. It keeps under 20% just permanently. As long as I don't serum or I don't medkit, I can just stay at like low health forever. And by staying at low health forever, I stay invisible forever, which has a lot of interesting effects. The first is that notice that Matam Hydra has been out for a pretty long time now, and no bodyguard has arrived. Well, spoiler alert, no bodyguard will ever arrive. See, by being permanently invisible, it seems to sort of break the enemy AI a little bit, and that they kind of get stuck in this sort of like passive out of combat mode, and they don't use any of their skills or anything. So that seems to include like summoning arts, for example. Something that both Multiple Hydra and Red Skull will never do during the entire course of this video is summon their arts. There'll be no bodyguards and no sentinels. They're just going to like run back and forth, doing like the Skyrim meme that, I don't know, maybe they think it's just the wind, and just not really care that I'm just literally like beating them up the entire time. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and get my last kill and on to Red Skull. Which is going to be much of the same. These enemies cannot see me either. Now that said, invisibility does not mean invincibility. I can still be killed two ways. The first way is going to, I think, disappoint a lot of you. Brave horses can see through stealth. If I try to do something like the Axis Sentinels like this, they're just going to go ahead and see me instantly, and they're just going to kill me. It does not work on raid bosses. The second is, I think, rather obvious, and that is that area of effect attacks can kill you and so can like crossfire. So this does not work very well in patrol zones either, because if you walk into a patrol zone, there's likely going to be like other players there, and they're going to be targeting them, and you can just die just by getting in the way, even though none of the bosses like will know you're there. Now this does work rather well in though, are things like terminals. You can actually go through entire terminals and nothing will ever be able to see you. It also works fairly well for most danger room scenarios. It's kind of worth noting that the Training Art Sentinel apparently counts as a raid boss. It will see you if you try and do this. But I think pretty much all the other ones, they don't count. Like even Cable cannot see through stealth, apparently. So that's a rather cool development. This is also why I do not have my team up out, by the way. It wasn't just to make the video like more impressive on the surface, even though that was kind of a nice benefit, not gonna lie. But also, the team up being out would give them something to do. It would cause like the enemies to actually start activating their AI. And I could obviously be killed in the crossfire and they go for like Jessica. They could easily hit me. So the reason why I'm doing this video is for a couple reasons. The first reason is that I want to encourage people to work smarter, not necessarily work harder in this game. You do not have to have the best of everything in order to do content necessarily. It's not all about infinity points and kits. Some of it actually does come down a little bit to skill and just using your head. But the other reason, and I think the more interesting reason, that I want to put this out there, is because I think we've always assumed all along that power duration was just universally a good stat to have. There's basically like no other instance I can think of where just not having as much power duration as you can is a bad thing, unless it comes at the expense of like some other key stats maybe. But this is kind of interesting because, as I said earlier, having power duration breaks the cooldown on this. And I want to think that this is not the only like incident where that's possible. It may be worth exploring like other power duration builds. Maybe there might be some items or skills out there that allow for some similarly interesting interactions. Though honestly I'm not certain what those could be. I don't even know where to start with those. Because a lot of items that do have that sort of like conditional cooldown are just not very good overall. Like, they tend to be very weak, outdated items, but I want to think maybe there's something out there in terms of skills or, like, again, items that we just haven't really looked at enough. I don't know. Might be nothing except for this, but I'd like to hope there isn't. Because admittedly, while this build is really fun, and it's a very different way to play, because it is, like, it's just what makes it so fun. It's also just not very good overall, honestly. It's very, like, situational. Anyway, I couldn't get my last kills, and there we go. These other enemies just hang out, they don't really care. So, I guess again what I'm hoping to do is I think things that have this sort of like static cooldown might be worth looking into in terms of like getting power duration just right regarding them. But again, who knows, you know, there could be something, there could be nothing.